like not enough. But I did.
I'm just recording since you're...
Okay. Okay, some of it might need to be...
Well, I will share it if you don't want to.
Okay. I'll just speak in general terms. But I did have a dream, and when I woke up, I was like, oh, I had a dream. I was so excited. But then, like, immediately I had some doubt creep in because I thought, oh, maybe that's just me and my own soulish, whatever. But after talking to Ben about it and hearing his kind of impressions, and then after this conversation, I do believe it was from the Lord. And so I think talking about it in general will kind of help bring clarity to some of it. But I am so grateful to him. I'll tell you the dream, sorry, in just a second. A lot of build up here. Mm-hmm. But I have never been the one to see the vision, like see like a big picture of what things could be. I've always just been, I've always been the person to make it happen. I'm the one that shows up on time and does the work. I'm the more physical. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this time maybe the Lord is showing me what things could be. And that's like so dang exciting. I can't tell you, really, honestly. Because it's so him. It's like so obviously him and so obviously not me. Okay, so in general, basically in the dream, I was in a place where it was a big facility, and there's a lot of like terms I'm going to try to avoid saying because I feel like they just have bad connotations with them. But basically, this was a very large learning center. It was a center where people would learn. There were people of all ages. There were adults. There were young children, like 4 and 5. There were teenagers. There were grandparent age people. I even saw people of different nationalities that were there, like specifically an African American guy that was there, and he was awesome. But I was basically being shown this center, and it had different zones in it. And I believe the Lord was showing me a representation of the fullness of kind of this vision that we're all coming at different angles. But there was different zones. Like when I say zones, like there was like farming. The kids were milking the cows and like, oh, raw milk, that's so good. Whatever. They're like, but they were like caring for the animals, and they were like doing that in this one zone. And there was no like teacher that was like, now class, today we will blah, 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 milk the cow. It was not that at all. It was like very small groups of children. And there were adults there that I would call them like a facilitator in each zone, but they were passionate about what they were doing. And it was like beautiful. It was so cool to see and witness. And then there was like another zone that was like, it had like a rock climbing wall. It was like very physical. There was like another zone that was like, had these big screens, and this is where the African American guy was, which I really wish I knew him in real life because he was cool. But he was like basically selling to me the validity and importance of like this zone. Like, yeah, these are video games, but let me just tell you, these are so cool. The kids learn this, and this, and like adults this, and this, and like we do it together and whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm totally like picking up what you're laying down. Anyway, you're having a good time. But because normally I would kind of look down on the screens, whatever. But that was a zone in my dream. And then there was another zone where there was like, they were pulling, this is why Dallas. But they were pulling sourdough bread out of a brick oven. And it was like the person that was doing it, that adult facilitator that was in there. These are all just words I'm coming up with. They were not in my dream, but I'm trying to just explain the type of people that were in there. They were like, yeah, check out, like listen to the crumb, like, and the kids were all, ooh, and it was like, it was nutrition, it was baking, it was like joy in these things. And there were all these different zones, and the teenage kids that were there, the person that was showing me around, she was a mom, I don't know, just a dream person, but she had kids that were like teenage kids, and she had younger kids as well. So she must have had, I presume, several kids. But her teenagers that were involved in this process were not only helping with the younger, I will call them students, learners, but they were also taking like imagine like the best of a trade school type learning opportunities. They were learning to fix cars, and they were learning to, whatever. They were very personable and mature, but I could tell that not only were they really gaining from this center, but they were giving in this center. And what really was just beautiful to me about the whole thing, and in the dream, I was so moved by the beauty of this place that I was crying, I was touched. I was crying because I was so moved by the beauty of it, how it worked, and the vibe. Everybody in there was just it was this varied and diverse and passionate and beautiful community. There was obviously more than one family involved because of the different facilitators and the ages and all of it, and the understanding that I had, and again, I'm being kind of general about it, but was that, wow, look at the fullness that is produced here. That even just one family with say, maybe I'm just for an example, one family with cows on a farm that would teach their kids how to milk cows, which is awesome and cool. That would be they would do that well. That would be kind of the best that they could do, was this is our family, this is what we do. We care for livestock, and we milk the cows, and we learn how to do that, whatever. But see, the children in that family would have that richness, but maybe they wouldn't have the richness of the, super fun screen guy who was talking about all the screen stuff, or they wouldn't have the rock climbing, or they wouldn't have the nutrition and the baking, but participating in this center, it was a fullness and a beauty for all who were involved. So, thank you, Lord. And I received that in the context of what today is and everything that's happened. I believe, that the Lord has shown me what it could be, what it could represent. Obviously not that it's any of those specific things or any one building or anything like that, but just representative of, what he is building. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not particularly the same, it is a specific or similar topic, but it just came to my mind and I don't want to forget it.
Yeah.
And I'll have to find out if there's more remembrance. But Kim reminded us of a dream that she had years ago, and I remember it vaguely. Maybe you've heard it and you remember it too, but it was she and you were actually teaching children together.
Oh my gosh.
In this dream. And there's some
that.
sad endings to the dream because of the physical people that were involved. That, I guess something started to come about and get dangerous, and people were having to get away or get to something, and some people did and some people didn't.
Oh.
But while I'm thinking about it, I'm the people that didn't were the old generation. And I'm wondering if that's a symbol of old ways passing, not the person that passed, but the old ways being gone.
Wow.
Because they're not viable anymore, that God is doing a new thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of, I don't really recall any of the dream except what she just brought up recently.
Oh man, I want to hear it.
I know. I was hoping maybe she's got it written down, or that she sent it to Tim, because it was, I think, when we still lived in California. That's how old of the dream it was. But, anyway, so it just reminded me of it when you were sharing that just now.
That would be the funnest. She and I definitely bounce off one another in that way.
So, no, but even just the very premise of what you're saying, and I know you're saying you don't want to, weigh heavily on activity or anything because of your dream, but
yeah.
I think the vastness of the activities are very poignant to really what the Lord is saying. It's not about math, arithmetic, and reading, or math and arithmetic are the same thing.
Yeah, no, I got you. Reading, writing,
and
arithmetic. Yeah,
thank you. But and those are the necessities, just like certain things in our life. Those are things we need to learn, so there's nothing wrong with them. I have to remind my children of that every day. But it's more than that. It's richer than that. And it is 100%, not just a little bit on the side, like 100% spirit-led. And by spirit-led, I don't mean we don't know what we're doing and it's just flipsy-flopsy. But like that it is the foundation and the spirituality of the whole occasion is what needs to be the foundation and where the strength comes from. Does that mean it won't look like practical activities? No, I don't think so at all. But I think that's why it's such a learning curve for us, because it's, again, we're pioneers. I almost bought a shirt that said pioneer because of you.
If you do, buy me one.
Oh, it's going to be for you.
Be matching.
We all need our matchy shirts. Because it's so new, and it's not because we haven't been instilled or gifted, like I said before, but it's just so much outside of our regular. And because, as Nicole said, our deepest desire is to walk outside of our own strength and in His ways. So